You know, my grandpa Leo used to tell me stories. He'd sit me down, open that old photo album, and tell me about the world he knew. A world where wealth wasn't on a phone screen, but in a shoebox or in the title to a house. He didn't understand this new digital money, this crypto thing. He'd just shake his head and say, son, you can't hold it. You can't touch it. It's not real. If you're interested in this topic, hit the like button, subscribe, and type interested in the comments, and I will give you a heart. And I get it. A lot of you probably feel the same way, especially with the world on edge. The markets are on a tightrope. Everyone is holding their breath with a major Fed meeting just days away. Will they cut rates or won't they? And what does that even mean for us, the people holding on to projects like Hedera HBAR? Is our digital cash just a pipe dream? Look, I'm here to tell you it's not. In the next few minutes, I'm going to take you on a journey that will not only show you what a monumental event is about to unfold, but will also give you the confidence to see the future of your portfolio like never before. I'm going to break down the one thing the entire market is missing right now, the one catalyst that is about to send HBAR into a new realm of price discovery. Stick with me, because what I'm about to show you will feel like cheating. We're going to prove Grandpa Leo wrong together. We're all feeling it, that knot in your stomach as the market fluctuates. This week, it's all about the Fed meeting. The big question on everyone's mind isn't just, will they cut rates, but what happens if they do? Most of Wall Street is expecting at least a 25 basis point cut this Wednesday. Now, why does this matter so much? Because for the last 2 years, we've been operating in a restricted, high interest environment. Money has been tight, and risky assets, including crypto, have struggled to find a clear direction. A rate cut is like releasing the pressure valve. It's an injection of liquidity back into the system, and that liquidity always flows into the riskiest, most explosive assets first. This is exactly what happened during the last bull run. The money that poured into Bitcoin didn't stay there, but cascaded into Ethereum, and from there, it flooded into altcoins. This time, it's going to be even more significant. I remember watching my own portfolio in late 2020. I had a small bag of HBAR and it was just sitting there. The price was around 3 cents and my friends would tease me about it. They were all in on Dogecoin and Shiba Inu, shouting about memes, while I was holding this corporate-backed, seemingly boring project. The doubt was real. Then, just like this time, the Fed started to make moves. Ethereum, the sleeping giant, suddenly woke up and hit a new all-time high. I knew that was the signal. It was the same signal we just got a few weeks ago when Ethereum once again hit a new 8H. Just like back then, the ETH breakout isn't about Ethereum itself. It's the green light for every other altcoin to start their engines. In that last cycle, from December of 2020 to the end of February 2021, HBAR exploded from its low of 3 cents to over 44 cents, a near 15x return in just 2 months. It then went on to hit its all-time high of 57 cents. Most people will tell you that HBAR didn't perform well, but they're not looking at the full picture. My grandpa Leo would have been amazed. He probably would have said, that's not a return, that's a miracle. HBAR started the 2021 cycle at just 1 cent, which means it returned over a 50x gain for early investors. This time around, we're starting with a much stronger foundation. We're not just hoping for a pump. We're waiting for an impulse move off a massive technical structure. A move that will take us past recent highs, past 2025 highs, and straight to new all-time highs. But to see why this is just the beginning, you need to understand the true underlying power of Hedera. The price chart is just the surface. What's hidden beneath is the real reason this thing is about to go ballistic. We're in a bull flag, you know that, but what you don't know is the secret engine that's been running beneath the surface, preparing for this exact moment. We're talking about its unprecedented development activity. Let's get down to the brass tacks. I know a lot of you have been looking at your charts and feeling a little impatient. HBAR has been trading sideways, hovering around that 23 cent mark, and to the untrained eye, it looks like a lack of momentum. But to us, the people who know what's coming, it's a thing of beauty. We're in a classic bull flag formation. See this trend line here that we broke over on September 11th? This wasn't a fluke. This was the market's way of telling us something massive is about to happen. A bull flag is a consolidation pattern that forms after a sharp price increase. It's a healthy pause before the next explosive move up. It's the market preparing to launch, not to fall. The demand zone we're currently tapping is the exact spot where smart money is accumulating. It's where the whales and institutions are loading up their bags, knowing that this is the last stop before we take off. They're just waiting for the perfect moment, that big impulse move that will send HBAR rocketing to the upside. Our target isn't just to clear the previous high from August, we're aiming to clear the July high and then the 2025 high. After that, it's blue skies and new all-time highs for HBAR. I want you to feel this. Imagine standing on a launch pad counting down. The engines have been tested, the fuel is flowing, and the rocket is primed. This is what it feels like to be an HBAR holder right now. Don't let the short-term dips fool you. Every time the price goes down, it's just shaking out the paper hands, leaving only the confident and informed investors behind. Do you know why a bull flag is so powerful? Because it signals that the market is so confident in the underlying asset that just taking a breath before an even bigger climb. It's not a correction, it's a consolidation. And here's the most important thing I can teach you about this chart. A beautiful chart with no real world substance is just a drawing. It's a fairy tale. The real reason this bull flag is so significant is because it's backed by something that most other projects can only dream of. A relentless, non-stop development engine that's working behind the scenes. It's the reason why the smart money is so sure about this thing. I'm not just talking about some minor updates or a website redesign. I'm talking about a deep, continuous, and significant commitment to building. We're going to look at the numbers and see how HBAR is outperforming some of the biggest names in the space. All right, let's talk about the real reason the chart looks so bullish. It's the topic that a lot of people just don't pay attention to. Real world asset RWE development activity. Think about it like this. If you were going to buy a company, would you invest in one that just talks about their future plans or one that's actively building, hiring engineers, and creating tangible products? The answer is obvious. You'd choose the one that's already putting in the work. And when we look at the top RWE projects by development activity over the last 30 days, HBAR consistently ranks at the very top. We're talking about being in the top 5, right alongside names like Algorand, Chainlink, Stellar, and Avalanche. These are prominent, long-standing projects in the crypto space. Yet Hedera is right there with them, proving that its enterprise-grade network isn't just a marketing slogan. It's the real deal. I've said it before and I'll say it again, Hedera is in a completely different phase of the cycle. They are nonstop growing, nonstop building, and nonstop expanding. They aren't waiting for a bull market to start their work. They're creating the very conditions that will lead to one. This is the hidden knowledge. This is the part that my grandpa Leo wouldn't have understood, but he would have respected. It's the difference between a project that's all hype and one that has a foundation built on brick and mortar. The continuous building activity shows that the big players, the governing council members, aren't just there for a name on a list. They're actively using the network, developing solutions, and pushing for mass adoption. When you see a project consistently ranked as a top builder, it's a signal. It's a signal that there are real, tangible use cases being deployed that will one day create a constant flow of transactions. This is why you have to stay locked in. We're not just talking about a theoretical future. We're talking about what's happening right now. The work being done behind the scenes today is what will fuel the next great explosion in price. While other projects might be talking about a partnership, Hedera is already building with its partners. While other projects are trying to fix their scaling issues, Hedera is already processing 10,000 transactions per second for a fraction of a penny. This development isn't just for show. It is the very foundation that will support the next monumental catalyst coming down the pipeline. A catalyst that's so big, it's going to bring institutional money in by the truckload. The developers are building the product, but who's building the on-ramp? We're talking about ETFs, and the latest news is going to shock you. Get ready, because the same thing that happened to Bitcoin is about to happen to HBAR. And let's talk about the big one, the word that has everyone talking, ETFs. Everyone knows about the Bitcoin ETF. Everyone saw what it did to the price. But what a lot of people don't realize is that the same thing is happening with altcoins right now, and HBAR is at the front of the line. Just this past month, we got a huge update. The Hedera ETF from Grayscale, along with other altcoin ETFs from major firms like Fidelity and Canary Capital, were officially listed on the DTCC's platform. Do you know how the Bitcoin ETF started? Exactly like this. In late 2024, the Bitcoin ETF got added to the DTCC platform. And then just a few months later, in January 2025, we got the official approval. We're seeing a mirror image of that process playing out right now for altcoins. And even though we just saw a recent delay in the Grayscale and Bitwise ETF decisions to November 12th, this is actually a good sign. Why? Because the SEC isn't rejecting them, they're delaying them. They're taking the time to look over these applications and get it right. It shows they're not just ignoring the crypto space, they're taking it seriously. They're preparing for a massive influx of institutional capital. This is a game changer. An HBAR ETF would open the floodgates for traditional investors to pour money into Hedera without ever having to touch a crypto exchange. This is a crucial step toward mass adoption. But here's the most important part of this story. It's not just about HBAR. The approval of any altcoin ETF will be a monumental catalyst for the entire market. Think about it. If XRP or Solana or even Dogecoin gets an ETF approval, that's billions of dollars of new liquidity flowing into the crypto space. Where does that liquidity go? It trickles down. It searches for the next big opportunity. It finds its way to projects that are fundamentally sound, projects that have been building, projects like Hedera. This is all one big catalyst. What's good for one altcoin is good for all of them. But what's good for HBAR is what's truly special. Because as these ETFs get approved, the liquidity will chase the most promising projects, and Hedera is at the very top of that list. We've been talking for years about how institutions are coming. Now we're seeing them lay the physical infrastructure for it. The DTCC listing is the clearest signal yet that the floodgates are about to open. The DTCC is the ultimate institutional on-ramp, but the biggest names in finance are already here. What if I told you that BlackRock, Nvidia, and Visa are all actively building on the Hedera network right now? Stay with me, because that's our next segment. This is where the story gets really good. Forget the charts for a second, forget the ETFs. Let's talk about who's actually building on the Hedera network. We're not talking about small startups or obscure tech companies. We're talking about some of the biggest, most influential names in the world. This is the Hedera Governing Council, and their work is just getting started. Take a look at this list provided by a good friend of mine, Tokenizer. Nvidia, the #1 tech company, is building on Hedera. BlackRock, the #1 asset manager in the world, is building on Hedera. Lloyds Bank, the #1 UK retail bank, is building on Hedera. Visa, the #1 payment firm, is building on Hedera. BitGo, a global leader in institutional custody, is on the Hedera Governing Council. FedNow, the US Federal Reserve's real-time payment system, is using the Hedera network. Deloitte, the #1 consultancy firm, is using Hedera for ESG solutions. Australian Payments Plus, the top payment provider in Australia, is building on Hedera. And finally, the Swiss financial infrastructure provider Six Digital Exchange is also building on Hedera. Do you see the pattern here? This isn't a coincidence. This is a deliberate alliance of global powerhouses choosing to build on a single network. They're not just exploring the technology, they're deploying real functional solutions. BlackRock is tokenizing a money market fund on Hedera with ARChex, a direct move to put institutional assets on chain. Visa is building consumer payments, and FedNow is integrating into the system. This is the hard, cold, unshakable truth that separates HBAR from every other project out there. While others are still trying to figure out how to scale, Hedera is already processing real-world transactions for the companies that control the global economy. This is what you bought into. This is the core thesis of your investment. It's not just a speculative token, it's a piece of a decentralized infrastructure that the world's most powerful corporations are building right now. My grandpa Leo would have understood this. He didn't trust money in the cloud, but he respected the names on this list. He would have looked at BlackRock and Visa and said, now that's a team you can bet on. This is the trust factor. This is why you should feel confident. This is the reason why the tokenization studio that Hedera launched just 1 year ago is already winning awards and seeing a huge increase in adoption, because it's providing a solution to a real-world problem for companies that can't afford to fail. Okay, let's connect the final dots. A few months ago, the DTCC, that same company handling trillions of dollars, joined an association for a token standard called ERC 3643. Now, a lot of people probably didn't even notice, but just 7 days later, Hedera joined the exact same association. This wasn't a coincidence. This was a strategic move. This token standard is being used for tokenization solutions to make sure that large institutional and enterprise players can tap into these platforms seamlessly. It's like a universal translator for big finance. Now, what does this mean for us? This standard automates the processing of tokenized securities, reduces operational costs, and increases market liquidity. It's the plumbing for the future of finance. The DTCC is building its own tokenization platform, and a lot of people will tell you that they're just going to use a private blockchain and that this doesn't benefit us at all. But that's simply not true. A patent filed by the DTCC shows their master plan. They want to interoperate across public blockchains. They want to be able to use the best technology available, whether it's on their private network or on a public one. And guess what? This patent specifically includes Hedera as one of the top-tier distributed ledger technologies that they will be using. And this is the ultimate mic drop. We're talking about the company that moves an unimaginable amount of money, we'll get to the exact number in a second, actively building a platform that will tap into the Hedera network. They are not building in a silo. They're creating a new financial infrastructure that connects with the world's most powerful decentralized networks, and they chose Hedera as a key partner. Why Hedera? Because of its unique Hashgraph technology, its speed, its low fees, and its unparalleled security. It's the perfect foundation for a system that needs to move incredible amounts of value with zero friction. This is why all of these companies we just talked about are building here. They know that this is the only network that can handle the volume of a quadrillion-dollar market. So the question isn't just whether HBAR will go up, it's about how much of this unimaginable value will find its home on Hedera. It's time for the big reveal. You think you know what trillions means? We're about to show you what quadrillions means and what just 1% of that market could do to HBAR's price. All right, listen up. This is the big payoff, the moment you've been waiting for. We've talked about the catalysts, the chart, the builders, the ETFs, and the DTCC's master plan. Now let's talk about the number that's going to make it all real for you. The DTCC moves over $3.80 quadrillion a year. That's not a typo, that's a Q. It's a number so large that most people can't even comprehend it. A billion is a 1 with 9 zeros. A trillion is a 1 with 12. A quadrillion is a 1 with 15 zeros. You know what they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. What you are seeing here is the future of finance. This isn't just about a small price gain, it's about a fundamental shift in how the world moves money. The DTCC is actively tapping into networks like Hedera to build this new infrastructure. And think about this, we don't need a single company to move $3.80 quadrillion on chain to make HBAR valuable. Not even close. If just 1% of that market value ever found its way onto the Hedera network, it would change everything. And this is where I tie it all back to my grandpa Leo. He saw a world of tangible assets. We're seeing a world of digital assets. He saw the world in billions and trillions. We're seeing it in quadrillions. You, the person watching this right now, are witnessing the birth of a new financial era. You are not just a spectator, you're an early investor in a network that is literally changing the way the world does business. This is why you held, this is why you believed, and this is why this alt season will be different from every other. Now, I want to hear from you. After seeing all the facts, do you believe that a small fraction of the DTCC's quadrillion-dollar market could push HBAR to unimaginable heights? Let me know in the comments below. And if this video gave you a single ounce of confidence and got you just a little bit more excited for the future of your investment, then do me a favor, smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe about the upcoming price targets or another major partnership. Next, we're going to be tracking the exact price points we need to break through to make sure we're all prepared for the coming pump. You won't want to miss it. It's been real. Peace out.